many ways, I'd like to try to make the world a better place. That's what this podcast is about. I'm just kidding. It just sounds nice. But, the whole premise, thanks, Dad, it's manners, it's polite. How can we be better to one another? How can we feel more connected? Here's how. I would like to abolish handshakes. I think we need to abolish them expeditiously. Expeditiously. No, keep that in. I'm imperfect. Expeditiously, immediately, abolish handshakes. I can't speak. Abolish handshakes immediately. I'm getting some cheers, quiet cheers on the side of the sides of the room. You can't see. They're happy about it. I'm getting some snaps. I'm getting some quiet these. Because, why are we still shaking hands post-COVID? I had no issue with them before COVID handshakes. I was like, go for it. But now I'm like, why are we doing this? Yes, because now I'm hyper aware of germs, potentially, which is a problem, and I should get over it, I know. But we don't have to touch. We could also just make intense eye contact upon meeting and go, hello, James. It's nice to meet you. It really, really is. My name is Ego. Yeah, nice to meet you. Why do I have to touch your hand to my hand for us to feel connected? Mind you, I'm a big hugger. Love a hug. I love a hug. I do go for a hug. So I think the handshake thing maybe isn't totally about germs. It just feels like, I feel like a handshake is potentially grosser than a hug is. Now, if it's a weird hug, that's a different conversation. Those aren't the kinds of hugs I'm talking about today, okay? The Where My Hug crew at, abolish them as well, all right? Go send them to jail. But societal jail, which is just jail, right? Anyway, I don't think we need to be shaking hands. And I'm really sorry. And I love meeting new people. I try to be warm when I meet new people. But when it happens now, I'm kind of like, why are we doing this? Why is my hand in your hand? Why am I feeling the sweat of your hand? I don't know how frequently you wash your hands. I wash mine actually a good amount. A really good amount. I'm talking maybe too much. But I also carry lotion on me, guys. Wink. For the people who don't like lotion, you should really start lotioning. I can't recommend it enough. And there's various kinds. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but it's all connected. You see? Everyone's following. They're not in the room, but I know you at home. Oh, you're following. All right? Handshakes. Do away with them. 2026, what if we laid them to rest? I see no need. Eye contact. Someone recommended a bow. Love it. Air kisses. Hugs. I still like hugs, but we don't have to shake hands. Anyway, today I'm talking to Padma Lakshmi. It's going to be really good. I believe, I hope, I pray. Will I shake her hand when she gets in here? No, I won't. And that's partially because I know Padma already. But take a listen. I bet this is going to be a good one.
Did you stay long at that Cartier interview?
Padma, I tucked away.
Okay.
Very quietly into the night.
I understand.
I said to my friend, I go, here's our chance. Let's get out of here. Yeah. I love to leave a place. I'm like, invite me. If I come, chances are I'm plotting my escape prematurely. But how was it at the end?
It was fine. We stayed until dessert was served. Yeah. But I was sitting between some really nice people, some Cartier people.
Okay.
And so I stayed. Also, they had just featured me in the magazine, so I couldn't.
Oh, you had to stay.
I had to stay. Yeah. But it was nice. That room was beautiful. But then I just dipped out. Like, I wanted to get home for Krishna also. It was a weeknight.
Yeah.
So right when they took the plates away and got dessert out, I was like, okay, ciao.
Okay, did you have dessert?
No.
No, you skipped it. Do you generally skip dessert as a lifestyle?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
I love dessert. Do you not have a sweet tooth?
I don't.
Really? I am fascinated by people who don't have a sweet tooth. Someone told me it's because your sweet tooth or the absence of it is a function of whether your mom had a lot of sugar while she was pregnant with you. But everyone loves to blame everything on the women.
That's true.
Anyway.
That's true.
I think it's just an illness that I like sugar as much as I do.
I think I just grew up, in an Indian home, and we don't serve something sweet after every meal. So I don't have the practice of it, and so it saved me.
Right.
I do plenty of other stuff, but
that's not cool. You're like other things that I didn't grow up with. Also, me eating out as much as I do is not very Nigerian of me. My mom was very much there's food at home.
Right.
There's food here, and also at home, you know what we're putting in it.
Exactly. She's right.
She's so right, but I still eat out all the time.
Well, if you're single and you don't have kids, it's
Who said I'm single?
Oh, are you?
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'll never tell. But
okay. Well, but if you live if you live alone, then it's sometimes not even worth the dishes. Like when I lived alone, I would just make one thing, but I would make a lot of it, and I would eat off that for 4 or 5 days, and then I would kind of cook something again.
Yeah, I stopped cooking for myself as frequently because it's just so much effort for one person. Like you're saying, when you live alone, it's like, I'm going to do all of this, make all this mess just to eat very quickly, and then have to clean it up. So all the prep and all the cleanup took more time than my actual enjoyment of the meal. And so I'm trying to eat more at home now. I'm trying.
Well, do what I was doing. Like try to cook one dish that you really love, like some kind of Nigerian stew that your mom is going to give you a recipe for from your childhood that you really love. And then, stews actually get better the next day.
I know. Well, you know what my go-to, and especially during COVID, was jollof rice. Oh. And I make a big pot of jollof rice, and I make a good jollof rice. And I want to be very clear distinctly because, there's a little beef. Not in the rice. You could put beef in the rice, but I mean there is some beef between the Ghanaians and the Nigerians.
Oh, I know, and the Senegalese.
And the Senegalese as to who has the best jollof rice, and it is the Nigerians. Sorry. Well, I've had a Ghanaian tell me, and that one Ghanaian speaks for all Ghanaians when she says Nigerians have the best jollof rice.
Oh, good. Well, Nigerians have the party jollof too, right?
Yeah,
they have the char on the bottom. I learned how to make that with some Nigerians who taught me very well. But the recipe for jollof rice in this new cookbook is actually from my friend Precious.
Okay.
They are an artist. Precious is an artist here in New York, and they grew up in Ohio.
Okay.
And they put things like sun-dried tomatoes and a little bit of dashi.
Okay.
And I was like, that doesn't sound very Nigerian. She called me crazy. I'm not an expert, but she goes, no, they aren't. But, we do in my neck of the woods.
Okay.
And so I was like, fine, you're taking the heat for that.
Okay, yes. And you put Precious on blast. This was a Precious thing, not a Padma thing.
Yeah, but it's delicious. I make it all the time.
Okay, I'll have to try it. My problem is that when I make jollof rice, and I was doing it during COVID, and I told my mom this on Sunday, I was like, I just can't have one serving. I can't have just two servings.
Nobody can.
I keep eating because I'm like, so have you ever had a meal you love so much where you're like, you want more of that? When you make it at home, there's so much more of it at your disposal, and my ass will go right for it.
Oh,
I can be full and be like, but it's right there, and that was delicious.
Yeah.
So
or like a fried egg on top.
Oh, well, see, here's my thing about fried egg.
You don't like it?
I like it, but it needs to be over hard.
Oh.
I do not want a runny yolk.
At all? Not even a jammy one?
Not even a jammy. I just got into a jammy egg. Wait, Padma, we have to pick this up in 30 seconds because I need to do your intro.
Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
And I'm giving Kevin hell, or maybe that was a cold open. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to read your intro because your resume is resumeing.
Oh, thank you.
It is. What doesn't Padma do? Okay, my next guest. I was just going to make a joke about how I've already been talking to you this whole time. My next guest is an Emmy-nominated food expert, television producer, and New York Times best-selling author. She's the creator of the critically acclaimed Hulu series Taste the Nation, and served as host and executive producer of Bravo's Top Chef. It's Padma Lakshmi.
Hello.
Hi. As though we haven't been deep in conversation.
I know. Well, that will be your cold open.
It'll be my cold open.
Really long cold open.
They'll figure it out. But I don't know how to do portions. I don't have portion control is my main problem.
Yeah, neither do I, which is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I don't either. That's why I try to keep good food
near
me. And as soon as my daughter leaves for college, I'm getting rid of all the trash in our pantry.
Okay.
Like all the processed foods, all the, cookies and cheese puffs and all that stuff going away.
Did you ever try to make her eat healthy? Like I used to babysit kids who were straight organic.
Yeah, I mean, I also live in the real world, but
okay, welcome to those other parents.
But no, she would eat anything I gave her. She
Okay.
was a great eater until she started going to preschool.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden she started asking for chicken nuggets. And I was like, chicken what?
I didn't teach you that. I thought you learned that at
No,
preschool.
but she used to eat uni when she was 2. She loved steamed fish. She would eat anything. Of course, the only thing she still loves is caviar. Go figure.
Of course
Yeah.
she does.
But I mean, she's a
Taste.
pretty good eater,
Okay.
and she likes to cook, and she's very sophisticated. You know, she grew up on the set of Top Chef. She's traveled all over. She's gone to Paris every spring break with me for like 6 years in a row.
Incredible.
She had the audacity to say, "Mom, I'm sick of Paris." And I was
What a
like,
life.
"Shut your mouth."
What a life. Tell her don't say that to anyone.
I told her, I'm like, "Shut your mouth right
But
now."
we put her on blast here.
Yeah.
How old is she now?
She's gonna be 16 very soon.
Oh my gosh. And I remember her on Instagram as Little Hands.
I
That's still what,
know.
like, I still in my mind, I'm like, she's Little Hands.
Yeah,
But
she
she's
still
not,
is.
But she is, but she's grown.
Yeah, she's not that little anymore.
Yeah.
She's still little hands with big claws. Because
Okay.
now she's into those fake nails with all the stuff hanging off of
Okay.
it. I'm like, how do you do your homework? And she's like, I just manage,
Yeah.
Mom.
Okay. Or I
You know?
don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, not
But
for
my
geometry.
nails, though.
Yeah, aren't they cool?
Oh man, that's amazing. So the caviar on nuggets, I have to say taste because I love the caviar nuggets at Cocoduck. Have she had those?
We've been to Cocoduck, yeah.
Are you not
yeah.
impressed?
I mean, it's
Okay,
caviar on
that's-
fried chicken. Like, okay.
Someone sent me a DM that
Mm-hmm.
a hairstylist that I know, in response to my posting the nuggets with caviar on them. He was like, "Those McDonald's McNuggets with caviar." What he said, McDonald McNuggets dressed in caviar, and I thought that is accurate.
Yeah, high-low, baby.
But it's good. They're so. I find them to be so good. But I know it's maybe obnoxious to some people.
It's not obnoxious to me, but I mean, I prefer potato chips with sour cream
Okay.
and caviar, because then you get the creaminess and you get a little crunch and then you get the pop.
Yeah.
I also like wasabi caviar, which
haven't
is
had that.
delicious. You can get it at Russ and Daughters downtown.
Okay.
It's really good and it's beautiful. Just put on like some sushi or fish or whatever.
Okay, I'm adding it to my shopping list when I
Yeah.
finally go to the grocery
Yeah,
store.
exactly. Yeah.
Padma, before we get further down the line on our food speak,
Yes.
because I feel like you and I could go forever talking about
Hours.
food. But you're the actual expert. My whole thing is that I'm out here eating people's cooking.
That's fine.
What do you want to say thank you to? Who, what?
I would like to say thank you to my grandparents.
Okay.
My mom divorced my biological dad, who I never knew, and she came to America when I was 2. I didn't see either of my parents from I didn't see either of my parents from age 2 to 4. And I joined her when I was 4 here in New York. But I was still sent to India every summer for 3 months. And I studied 3rd grade and 4th grade there. And my grandparents were huge influences on my life. My grandfather loved books. He was one of the most well-read people I've ever met in my life. And my grandmother loved cooking, and she was a great cook. She wasn't a cuddly grandma. She was a very practical grandma. But she taught me how to cook, and she taught me about life through cooking. And so it's no surprise now, looking back at my life, what I do for a living, because I write cook books, which I am a direct product of both my grandparents' love and influence.
Okay, so thanks to your grandparents.
Yes.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Which one did you lean into more initially? Were you like fascinated by food or reading more when you were younger?
Reading.
Reading?
But I became a really good cook even in high school, and I would cook for my high school friends. But I really never understood that there was the career as a food writer.
Right.
You know, I did see cookbooks, and in college I started buying cookbooks and stuff, but I didn't grow up going to restaurants. You know, my parents were like yours, like, why you gotta go out?
Well,
you know, we went out
yeah.
once a month to pizza, and
Okay.
then once a month to maybe like Thai or Chinese.
Okay.
And that was it.
Yeah, right.
You know, so I didn't know that there was this career, you know, in food, like being a chef. I mean, I saw the Swedish Chef on Sesame Street, but like that did
Right,
not
right.
look, you know, I
Right.
didn't want to aspire to that. But
Right.
so I kind of fell into food as a profession. But I was, and I'm a slow reader. I'm a very slow reader, but I do love to read. And I was also an American Lit and theater major in
Oh, my
college. So
goodness.
there's
Okay.
a lot of reading, you know.
Yeah.
So I was always better at literature than chemistry.
Right. I mean, me too. And I was a biology major. I was a
Really?
I was a science major, and it was. I don't know. I mean, I know how. It's because I ended up in that major. It's because
They wanted you to have a skill,
and
yeah.
be a doctor, and you have
Yeah.
a skill, right? But I was like, this is my maybe worst subject in high school. So how is this now my major?
Yeah.
And who let me do this on the academic side? But I love hearing you say that you were big in reading and didn't quite understand that there was a career in food or writing cookbooks. What did you want to be initially in your mind?
An actor.
Okay.
And I, after college, I modeled to pay off my college loans. And, I was auditioning for parts. I was still doing the occasional modeling job. And I wrote my first article for Vogue about my scar. And then I was asked to write another column for Vogue. And then I had a style column in Harper's Bazaar. And then I had a syndicated column in the New York Times about food and fashion and film. And so I was getting all this writing work, and I was piecing together a living by acting, by writing, by doing, still, again, the occasional modeling gigs. So like none of one of those things were enough to make a living for me.
Yeah.
So I had to I was hustling.
Yeah.
And I didn't know which one would take off.
Right. And then it ended up being
being the food writing.
Right.
Yeah.
Did that feel exciting to you, or in any way like a disappointment?
I always saw the food stuff, like whether it was cookbook writing or hosting. I hosted a documentary called Planet Food before Top Chef, and I had a show called Padma's Passport on the Food Network also before then. And I liked it, and it was fine. And I think the reason I was good at it is because I didn't care so much.
Yeah.
And so that was like my version of waitressing while waiting for the big acting gig.
Right.
And then I just became really successful at it. And so... sometimes you got to push through the open door.
Right. And life presents you things that are not what you expect, but end up being the very thing that leads you to what you're meant to do.
Exactly.
Which is sort of how it unfolds, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, and it's weird now because I haven't acted in probably 20 years.
Excuse me,
I did.
you were on SNL.
Oh,
last
yes.
season.
That's true. That's true. And I have been doing
cameo.
improv and stuff. But but like, I really haven't been on film or anything in 20 years. But like recently, there have been 3 different projects that people have offered me, independent film or whatever to act in, to star in. I'm like, are you sure? I mean,
don't get in your own way, Padma.
No, I'm not going to. But, it's just shocking.
Yeah.
So opportunities are coming to me now that I would have killed for 20 years ago. And if it works out, I would still love to do it. How great would that be to finally scratch an itch after so many years? But I'm also really thankful for the career I do have. I know I've been very fortunate, and I get to sit around and talk about food all day long. So I'm uniquely qualified for my job.
Yes, kind of dreamy. But it is crazy how after you have gone down the path you've gone down, the thing you wanted is like sort of presenting itself in a different way all these years later. That's also remarkable and feels like a gift. I think.
Yeah. It just shows you, like, you never know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Now, you said you were modeling also to pay your student loans. How did you feel about modeling? And I asked this because I have a friend who was a model because she was scouted. And she's actually very much an academic, and not to say the two don't go hand in hand, because I feel like I know so many models who are intellects and academics. How did you feel about modeling when you were doing it? Was it like sort of eye roll, this is just to pay the bills? Or did you recognize like this is kind of huge because some people would kill to be a model?
I think it was both.
Okay.
I started modeling my last semester of college in Spain because I was studying abroad. I was bored with college, and most people go to study abroad in their junior year. I went last semester of senior year.
Okay, great. Did you walk for graduation?
Yes, I came back, and I did walk for graduation.
Okay.
So I started modeling there, and at first I was like, I don't want to model. I don't want to ruin my GPA. And then they were like, you can make this much money. I'm like, that's more money than I've seen in a month. So yes, I will do that.
Yeah.
And I only went to school from 9 to 1, and I would do callbacks or auditions or go-sees after. And I had a friend of mine who had graduated the previous year, who was Spanish, and he encouraged me to do it because he just wanted to meet other models.
Yeah.
And so, Santiago was like, "No, you must go." And he's like, "I'll drive you."
Yeah, I'll go with you.
I'll drive you.
I'll escort you in.
Mm-hmm. And I was literally, sitting in some bar with Santiago when a friend of his, who was a booker at a modeling agent, saw me. And then I said, but I have this big giant scar on my arm. And they're like, so? And it was the first time that somebody didn't care. And I modeled in Spain, came back and walked, had this useless piece of paper that said I had a bachelor's degree in theater and American Lit, which qualified me to do exactly nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Where is your diploma right now? Do you know? 'Cause I don't know where mine is. Legitimately.
I legitimately don't know.
It's so expensive, but we just throw it somewhere
I'm
in
sure
a closet.
my mom has it somewhere.
Framed.
It's a very, I don't think so, but she has, that was a very costly piece of paper. You're right.
It's so expensive and we don't know where we keep them.
I know.
Unless you have an office space and you frame it and put it on the wall. I legit don't know where my diploma is, and it was so expensive.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I mean, I had my old university recently call me and ask me for a donation. I'm like, excuse me, you owe me money.
Yeah, exactly.
I did not get enough of an education for you to be calling me right now.
But they know that name, and they're like, oh, Padma, she's got a little extra to give us.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to give it to somebody else.
It is crazy because when they do call and ask for money from your college, because you're like, I already gave you money. I gave you money before, and it was really expensive, and I also had student loans. So I'm like, I had to go in debt to give you money.
Exactly.
And now you're asking me for more money just because? It's great. I do think that's crazy.
I don't understand exactly why education is so expensive, but I think it has to do mostly as a reflection of we don't care about our children in society.
Yeah, I can see
we
that.
might care about our own, but we don't care about other people's children as our own, and in the end they're all our children, and that's really demoralizing. But I mean, other countries you do have free education. It's just this country where you don't.
And health care. We take care of our people.
I know.
We take care.
So
we
sad.
take care. Speaking of taking care and other people's children really being all of our responsibility, did you know for yourself that you wanted to have a child?
I knew I wanted to be a mother, but I never knew it would be so fun.
Okay.
I really didn't. And I think it's been interesting to relive the world and my impression of it through her eyes. And it's also interesting to raise a child that doesn't have the same skin color as you.
Right.
I talk about this a lot in stand-up. It's funny because, basically I gave birth to a white girl. I mean, if you look at her and you look at me and we're standing next to each other, you can tell that we're related. She's just a white version of me.
Right.
But, when she was little and I would take her to the playscape,
you were getting mistaken for the nanny.
Totally. Which was fun because they had the better jokes. They had, they had the better snacks, certainly.
Yeah.
So I was okay with that. But then you realize, she's going to have different issues and problems. She's very privileged in a way that I wasn't, even besides her skin color. But she's brown on the inside. You could tell she's brown when she dances.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. That's
you
the
can.
giveaway.
Yeah, you come to Diwali, you know that girl is Indian.
Yeah, all right.
So she shakes her butt. She's Indian.
That's an Indian girl. Okay.
Yeah. But
the giveaway. That's when we start asking people, "Can I see you dance real fast?"
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Excuse me. Yeah.
And that's how we tell. Now, you said you didn't grow up as privileged as she is.
Not at all.
Right?
No.
And I imagine then that lent itself for you to some life lessons and for specific values to be instilled in you as a child. How do you go about instilling those values in your daughter now, given the context of her upbringing is totally different?
It's very difficult.
I imagine it would be.
It's really, really hard because, it's also a different time in general. I didn't grow up with a phone. We didn't have the internet. I can still barely use the internet. Just ask anyone around me. But also, she's growing up in her society, which is not my society. I had way more freedom than she did. My mother did not know where I was really from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. She didn't because she was at work and I could have been at school and I could have been somewhere else.
Girl, where were you?
I was mostly in school.
Okay.
But then, I would go to the park after school. There was no, I had incredible freedom. But my mom was a 70s parent, we didn't have that many rules, and I came out okay. But
Yeah, I think you're doing well.
thank you. But I have her location at all times on my phone because she's always on her phone.
Yeah.
And it's just different. But like, I want her to take the subway, but she takes Uber. Her father has loaded Uber Teen on her phone, and I'm like, she's a New York City kid. She needs to do that.
Yeah, right.
But then he's like, you don't want her on the subway. I'm like, yes, I do. She can take the bus. you know.
Yeah.
So that's a struggle. That kind of stuff is a struggle. And the food is hard too, because now that she has Uber, she can also get Uber Eats. And that is the thing that pisses me off the most.
Why?
Because I take the time to cook her a dinner.
Oh.
I make sundubu because she likes this Korean dish. And I'm like, okay, we're having that for dinner. And she goes, it's okay, Mom. I just ordered Taco Bell. And it infuriates me.
What is she doing?
I don't know. There's no accounting for taste. But but I also want her to be a normal teenager. I don't want to restrict her food. I want her body to learn how to process all kinds of things. Like, I don't eat a lot of meat because I didn't grow up with it. So I really can't process that very well. But, she can because she has steak with her dad or whatever. So I want her to eat normally, eat a lot of different foods, be open to them. But I just, the fast food really pisses me off because it's not good for her.
Yeah.
And she just wants to be like her friends.
Right.
This didn't happen until she went to school, like I said.
Yeah.
But she's a good kid. I mean, she's very well behaved and she's very ambitious. Okay. I'm lucky. She wants to do well for herself. I think she does feel the pressure of being my daughter. And so she does not want just to be known as my daughter. She wants to make her own way. She goes to a specialized high school, which she fought her way into. She had to get in. She had to do a whole bunch of stuff and audition and go to callbacks. And she did that by herself. I mean, I helped. I coached her. But she's doing great. And she loves her school. And she really has big plans for herself. So, is she going to clean up her room? No, until I say it the 18th time. But,
that's very normal, teen.
That's what they tell me. That's normal for American teens.
I know.
That is normal for American children.
That's true. That's true. My mom was working so much that she would have to tell me several times. And if anyone, I was just, if anyone told me to clean my room and I was going to do it, I'd be like, oh, see, I was going to do it. And
then now that you said it.
Now that you said, I can't do it today. I got to do it tomorrow.
Oh, you and Krishna. I know. You guys are
see,
very,
I had every plan of cleaning it today, but now you just said something, I'm going to have to do it tomorrow.
But I have a question for you. Did you have code switching going on? Like, was your mom like a Nigerian, like a Niger mom, or was
can you articulate this a different way for me? Because I'm like, how would you ask this a different way?
Did she not let you do things that your peers' parents would let them do, like sleepovers?
So she would let me have go. We never hosted a sleepover, I don't think. I think maybe some of my sister's friends slept over. But she would let me go to sleepovers. But I will say that at the door, she'd drop me off and then see what's happening in this family's home, and she'd say to me once I came home, "You're never going over there again." Yeah. But I know that she was never excited about me going to a sleepover, except for with my one best friend who lived 2 houses down the street from us. But so she wasn't as strict. I think partially because she was working so much, and then she wanted to try to be a little lax. There was so much on her plate. But there were moments where it's like, you're not really sleeping over at kids' houses. Were you allowed to sleep over?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No, and Krishna wasn't either. My daughter wasn't allowed to sleep over. Now she is with very few select people where I know the parents and stuff. But my attitude was like, if you want to sleep away from home, you should get into college.
That's very...
Brown folk do not let their children sleep away. I barely let her sleep at her dad's house.
I don't know that man anymore.
No, now she spends half her time there because she's older. But I mean, I'm not into it at all. Yeah. And I think I've just, I'm afraid of what can happen, what happens to me. And so it's tough, but at the end of the day, I have to equip her with the ability to think critically and avoid those situations, or give her the weapons and the language to handle those situations early on. Like people, when I first sent her to preschool, in an age-appropriate way, I did say to her, if anybody touches you or makes you touch them, I don't care if it's a principal, a doctor, a policeman, somebody who's related to us, somebody who's a friend, anybody, you have the right to your own body. Nobody should touch you and nobody should make you do something. You just yell.
Yeah.
Yell, run, and tell.
Yeah.
And so I gave her that language because so many times when it happens to you, you're just a deer in the headlights. You're just so shocked. You don't know what to do. So just giving that child a game plan, you know, like this is a plan. If I feel uncomfortable, if somebody makes me touch their privates, somebody gets too close to me, touches my privates, I say no really loud. And then I run and then I tell somebody I trust or know who's safe.
Yeah. I mean, that's brilliant because like you said, you can only protect them to a certain point. And the thing I think you're supposed to do, though I'm not a parent, as a parent, is to give them the tools and equip them to be able to navigate the world on their own because they're not going to be under your watch 24/7. They simply won't. And so if you give them the tools to navigate situations like that, navigate other situations that life might present them, I think that is a huge part of the job there because as much as you want to be protective, it's important that they know how to be on their own. And that's the nice part about college, I will say, especially if you get to go away or live on campus, is like sorting out how to be on your own. And without,
it's a nice middle ground between adulthood and living with your folks.
Yeah. I mean, I went to college 3,000 miles away, and I knew I wasn't going to be homesick. But it was interesting because I was a pretty independent young person, but I still found myself homesick because it was like culture shock, Baltimore to LA.
Yeah, that's a big...
I was like, wait, what is this? Who are these people? What's happening? How does it work this way? Why does everybody have a Benz? You're 18.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that happened to me too. I mean, I went from La Puente in California to Massachusetts, and I saw all these people with Cartiers and Rolexes in my women's studies class, and I was like,
oh,
yeah,
okay, different. You also said that your daughter wants to make it on her own, and is aware that she is your daughter, and people know her as such. At what point, and because I often wonder this with people who are well known, are famous, at what point did your daughter become aware that, like, oh, mommy's famous?
She did because they would follow us when I walked her to school.
How old?
When she was like 5 or 4. I used to walk, she used to go to a school that was just 4 or 5 blocks from our house. She went to Little Red, in the village, and I live in that area. And I would walk with her and they would paparazzi us, and it got bad enough that I had a key like the teachers had to a side entrance of the school that we would enter because they would be waiting outside her school. I mean, it's not as bad now, but in the days when it was bad, that's what they did. And so she knew, and then she also knew, like, we would be at like an open air market or something, or flea market, and people would come up and ask for pictures. And she would say no.
Your little protector.
She would just, she was irritated.
But like
pictures of me. Yeah. And then I never put her in the pictures. We're like, you can do a basic Google search of her name, and there are like thousands of pictures that come up, and you can see her. You can see her as a 4-year-old. You can see her as a 6-year-old. You can see it. And now she's more comfortable with it, and also she feels good. Also, like, she now understands because she also wants to be a performer that is part of the gig. But when she was young, she was really irritated by it, and understandably so. But now she gets it, and she's like, let me just take the picture, because then it's fast, and that's it. She gives the phone back, and we're done.
Yes, in and out.
But it really irritated her.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll feel like taking a walk around the neighborhood, and she'll say no, because she doesn't want to walk with me.
Yeah.
Because then it means she has to worry about what she looks like, and she's a teenage girl, and, she doesn't want to always, I get it. I don't always want to worry about it.
Let me tell you about walking in my neighborhood. Someone followed me the other day, and I was like, that's crazy. Because you're following me, and we're not having a pleasant interaction. I know you're following me. You now know I know you're following me. How do you think this interaction ends? I stop for a picture with you, like, you caught me. Let's get a picture.
I mean, some of these paparazzi, my mother can take a faster picture than them. It's like, what's taking you so long?
Yeah.
Like, you got the picture, leave now.
Yeah. And I find that not to be like, woe is me, but I'm always like, how do you think this interaction's going to end? This is not pleasant, because there are times like I just want to walk my dog. And, you know, a therapist will tell you, go on a walk, get some air. And I'm like, it's not that simple.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm in a hoodie when I know how to try to be, you know.
How do you do it? Can you tell me, please?
I walk like a little bit, like
Hunched-
looking down
hunched
rather
back.
than forward.
Okay.
I look at the road.
Grand. Okay.
And then I put my hood up.
Okay.
And I walk like I don't have time to stop.
I'm
not
people
looking
stop.
around.
I've had people stop me in my tracks when I'm walking maybe 80 miles per hour and could barrel right through them and stop me. Somebody touched me 2 weeks ago in Soho, and I was like, "What? I'm being touched."
I know. Don't touch me.
I'm being touched.
I know.
Don't touch me.
Well, you know, I mean, SNL is such a prominent show, and it's on network, and then you see all the clips and stuff. So you are out there in a way that I don't think I have been, you know, so it's different for you.
Yeah, I think so. And maybe because I do comedy, people are like, oh, but she's silly and she's always going to want to, like, she's fun. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like crying in my hoodie, walking in my neighborhood, just trying to get some air to feel any other emotion. And it's like, oh, the girl from, okay, but I'm going to hunch shoulders, hood up. Are we going sunglasses or no?
Yes, sunglasses.
Sunglasses,
do all the things.
Okay.
Hoodie, baseball cap, sunglasses.
Okay.
And just walk. I'm telling you, like, walk like you're angry and look down. Look down.
Look
you know?
down and
like
angry.
you're looking for something. Like you're kind of crazy.
Oh, maybe it's that. I need to be giving crazy.
Just like look around, mutter to yourself.
I should have a metal detector too. Maybe just
yeah, sure.
This person's fucking nuts.
Yeah,
metal detector on a New York sidewalk. I think that's gonna be the vibe. 2026.
There you
if
go.
you see me like that out here, no, you didn't. That's the whole point. Okay.
But also, I know how to be invisible. Like I just go out without makeup.
Okay.
I mean, people will still recognize me, you know, when I go to the grocery store, stop by, whatever. But, you know, people are usually cash. They want. Okay. I never say no to young women when they want a picture, and you know, I live near NYU, so it's hard. But I don't always want to stop because I don't want to be seen.
Sometimes you don't want to be perceived. That's what I say about my walk. Sometimes I literally just want to be like an invisible number.
Today.
Yeah, like an invisible number, just getting air right now for myself.
But these are high class problems to have.
1,000%. And sometimes I think about renaming this podcast "First World Problems." What do you think?
I'm sure you could do it.
Maybe someone else already has that. I'm sure someone else has already
probably. Yeah.
But also, all of the problems are not first world. In that, most of the people on the podcast I feel like have had interesting upbringings, and which is why I have the podcast, because it's fun to hear from people about what their upbringings were like.
Yeah.
What of your parents, besides the values you're trying to instill in your daughter now, do you emulate in terms of how you raise her? So, like, no sleepovers.
I do. I think
now
the
you're
most
kind of
Indian part of me is my parenting.
Okay.
Like, I'm pretty Americanized. You know, I've gone to school my whole life, mostly here, and I'm just as American or feel just as American as any other kid. But because I was raised by Indian people in a certain way, like Krishna will never step on a book. If she steps on a book, she stops, she touches the book with her hand, and then she touches her eyes with that same hand to pay respect to the book.
I don't know about this.
That's very
custom.
Indian,
yeah. Okay.
You know, because we think of books and literature as something sacred. So if she'd been studying on the floor, I was lying, you know, with a pillow and reading, and she happened to step on it by mistake, she will do that. Like, I've seen her do that without me telling her, because she knows now.
Yeah.
She will not go into our house with shoes on. Really,
right?
Unless she's like really in a rush and I'm not looking, but she, you know, she respects that.
Which is something I just adopted when I moved to New York City.
Yeah, come on, look at New York City. Yeah, I know, but you should.
My dog's paws are also getting wiped because
we wipe. Yeah, we wipe Davina's. Yeah, we have doggy wet wipes like right in
at the
table.
door. Yeah, right there.
And you come in, you put your keys on that. You take the leash off and you get the thing and you sit and you wipe all of her paws.
Yes, and my dog
ridiculous.
knows. He knows the drill. He doesn't even try to walk past the entry because he's like, I got to get my paws wiped. And it's like, yes, you do.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until New York I started honoring the shoes off thing. I would honor it in someone else's home. But in my house, I'd be like, yeah, I'm in my car. I lived in LA for so long.
Oh, yeah.
I'm but still, even in LA or anywhere else, I'm like, actually, it's a good look to do anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So things like that, calling your elders auntie, like, her father's friends, they're like Bob and Jane, but my friends, it would be like Aunt Premi, Uncle Vichu.
Very Nigerian also.
Yeah.
You don't call an elder.
You're not calling an elder by their first name. No, sir.
Yeah. If you had a sibling in Indian culture who's like 20 years older than you let's say like 15 years older than you, would you call that sibling by their name or would they also become auntie? Uncle?
No, they wouldn't be auntie and uncle, but they have a name in Tamil. Like you, there's a name for older sister and a name for younger sister, older brother and younger brother. So our names for relatives are super specific, except for auntie and uncle. That seems to be thrown around.
Yes, same.
So all
everyone's an auntie.
But like you can tell, like even when you're saying an actual uncle in Tamil, at least, the sister of my father has a different name than the sister of my mother.
Okay.
And if the sister of my mother is older than her, she's a peri ma. Peri means big and ma is ma, so it's like big mother. And if the sister of my mother is younger, then it's a chitti. Like you heard Kamala Harris say to all my chittis out there, because she had a lot of aunts that were younger to her mom.
Yeah.
So that part is really specific.
Yeah.
And that's very Indian. Krishna just knows to have certain respect for people. She will pray when she's scared, So she'll go, she'll light incense, she got a big exam or she wants a part she's auditioning for in the school play, stuff like that. And she had 6 years of Sanskrit singing. So it was like, Carnatic vocal training and stuff. Now she doesn't do it, but she still does music. So She's Indian when she wants to be. She's most Indian when she stamps her foot about wanting what she wants at Diwali.
Yeah.
So as you know, Diwali is a big deal at our house.
I've been to Padma's Diwali. It's a vibe. We went. It was me, Punky, Heidi after an SNL episode.
I know you guys were exhausted.
Looking rough. Everyone in all of your guests, you, your daughter, looking dressed to the nines, put together, absolutely.
I was just happy
stunning.
you came.
Thank
honestly,
you. It was lovely.
Because I know that schedule.
Yeah.
And it's brutal.
Yeah.
So the fact that you even showed up on a Sunday was a win.
We really wanted to be there, and I'm so glad we were there. But that is a special memory for me, and the fact that we did all roll up and we're like, we are tired, but we're here.
Yeah,
and we're feeling good.
But all my older relatives do the same thing. They just sit around. So you guys fit in.
It was perfect. I actually think I was sitting with one of your older relatives for the majority of the time against the wall there.
Yes, probably.
And we were having a nice long conversation.
Yeah.
It was very nice. Thank you for having us. Now, what is there about American parenting style versus Indian parenting styles that made you want to emulate Indian parenting styles, given you're like, I'm very American otherwise? What made you want to cling to Indian parenting as a style?
Well, it's mostly about the respect issue, which is a battle I'm losing every day. But, it was that. It was like sometimes you just have to do it. It's also, we are much more focused on keeping a very close connection with our extended family. And sometimes she's like, I'm bored, I don't want to go. And I'm like, sorry, it's not negotiable. Like, I'm not asking you. You don't get to decide, no, we're not going to this, or yes, you're just coming.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, these are your family, you're stuck with us.
Yeah.
Just like a club foot. We ain't going nowhere. So that's one thing. But also, like, I am lax about things that American parents are very strict about. For instance, I don't really have a bedtime for her.
Okay, say more. Because my friend's sister, and I don't want to put her on blast, but if she listens, she'll know I'm talking about her. Her 8-year-old is on like a Tuesday night awake at midnight. And that's crazy to me. I don't have kids. And then one time I was over their house on a Sunday. I was about to give specifics, say the city, their name. No, I won't. But I was at their house on a Sunday. And at that time, the 8-year-old was 6, and it was Sunday at 10 p.m. And I was like, I would have had to be in bed at this time. And they were like kind of just chilling right before school night. And I was like, what's happening? Why are they awake?
I mean, I figure she'll get tired eventually and go to sleep,
Okay.
and she will learn this lesson on her own. I mean,
Okay.
sometimes she's up because she does have homework. They give a lot of homework now. I really wish they
So
would
like my
just.
mom. My mom was like, the homework. Back then, my mom used to be like, why do they give you homework when you're in school all day?
I
And they're going
know.
to come home and do more school.
I mean, she and I would both rather she just stay at school another 90 minutes or 2 hours or whatever, come home at 6, but be done.
Yes, yeah.
So, I try to cut her off at like 11, like
Okay.
10:30, she should be washing her face.
Yeah.
She should be in her pajamas. If I have to, I take her phone off, but take it away from her. But, she sometimes will stay up late, and I'm a night owl, and I think and so is her father. So she thinks she inherited it from us.
Okay.
But I'm not policing her because at a certain point, like, you have to give them autonomy. And if they get tired enough, then they do. And then there has been times when she's been exhausted and she's come home and then she's taken a nap because she's so tired. And then she gets up and now she really can't go to
Yes,
sleep.
it's 11:45. She's
It's
like,
a
I'm
vicious
up.
cycle.
Yeah.
But, like, there's just things like that.
Okay.
Like she can't put the dog on the counter. She can't.
I mean, the dog shouldn't go on the counter.
I
Even
know, but,
I'm gonna say even the cats.
We don't have
shouldn't.
cats because
I
she's
know.
allergic. But my dog is 7 pounds.
Yeah.
And sometimes people will just put her on the counter because they're holding her, and I'm very not into that.
She was on the street. That's the thing.
Well, no, but we wipe her toes.
I know, but she was still on the street, like rubbing against the side of a. Here's the thing: I have a dog. Probably shouldn't have a dog because I'm.
How big is your dog?
He's 15 pounds, maybe like 17 now.
Okay.
The vet called him. What did she call him? Overconditioned. Her way of saying he's overweight. Can you believe that?
Oh, is that the euphemism
That's
we're
yes.
using
She goes,
now?
and she's Australian, so it was kind of lovely how she said it. She's like, he's a bit overconditioned, and I had to be like, can you tell me in layman's terms? It's like fat, and I'm like, damn, my poor baby. And I feel like he heard it because his whole demeanor, I feel like,
Oh,
shifted
no.
for a week. I do feel like he heard that. It was like a different person.
No,
for a baby.
Davina is not a glutton. Like I have to really be like, it's time to eat now, please. And she likes taking walks, but she's an indoor dog. She's very big cat energy.
Okay.
She just wants to sit on your lap.
Yes.
She
Yeah.
doesn't care. She's scared of everything. She was traumatized. I rescued her, and before we got her at the shelter, she was in a hoarding situation. So
Okay.
she doesn't like other dogs. She's not out to discover and conquer the world. She just wants to be near mommy.
No, did your daughter petition you for the dog?
Oh my God,
Okay,
yes.
that's how-
She made a big poster, and she was petitioning and lobbying for years and years and years. And I am not a dog person
Okay.
at all. Indians don't.
I mean,
generally
I don't
like
think
dogs.
Nigerians
Yeah,
do
yeah. We're not
either.
into
That's
not in the
it's
house.
it's not
Animals in the house.
I weirdly, my mom would rescue cats, and in those moments, I'm like, this is not a Nigerian woman. Like growing up, she'd
Yeah.
be like, there was a cat outside on the street, so she just had this soft spot for animals that felt
That's
so
nice.
not Nigerian for
Yeah.
her in that way, where it was like, I'm gonna go bring a stray cat into our home. But yeah, also didn't grow up with beyond like 8 years old. We didn't have any pets.
Yeah, but in COVID, she's an only child and she didn't see another child for several months. And so I really felt for her. And so
Yeah.
I brought home this little puppy. She's not a puppy. She was grown when I brought her. And I carried her home from the shelter and I gave her to my daughter. And then my daughter went crazy and then loved it. But then didn't walk the dog, didn't feed the dog, and lunged at the dog. And this dog was terrified of my kid. And so retreated deeper and deeper into my lap and arms. So now they have a weird sibling rivalry. It's really odd.
And you love your daughter more, though, of course. Oh, this funny. Padma.
I do. I love my daughter way more than my
You
dog,
had to
but
say-
sometimes I like my dog better.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, my dog does not talk back.
Okay, fair. That's
You know.
real. The dog is not like, give me these snacks. Does the dog like uni?
No,
Okay.
I don't want to give her any seafood because her breath is bad enough. She just had 4 teeth extracted
Because their teeth are messed up.
Well, I mean, she's older, and yeah, I'm told small dogs have this problem, and I try to brush her teeth, but it's hard to get the
In
toothbrush
there.
in there. Yeah, no, but I mean, my dog doesn't steal my clothes and my shoes without asking. They don't take my eyeliner and give it to their friends.
Okay.
And don't put it back in my makeup bag.
Okay, so shout out to all the dog moms.
Yeah.
They might have it better. They might have it better right now. That's all I am for now. And I'm like, this is a lot of work, though, taking care of a dog. And people don't talk about it enough. I'm like, it's actually a lot of work and effort. But now I've done it for 2.5 years. I'm like, I don't. My friend likes to say he doesn't remember what life was like before he had his dog. I'm like, I do remember it being easier, but it is what
you don't
it is
have
now.
to come home.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about, oh, my dog is sitting alone for 6 hours.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to Oxford at the end of this month, and I don't really know what I'm going to do with my dog. And I don't want to take her to England.
Yes.
England is hard enough.
Right.
You know?
England is hard enough. I'm going to Paris in a few days, and I was like, what am I going to do with my dog? And it became this whole thing where I'm like, what a gift I get to go to Paris. Unlike your daughter, I'm not sick of it yet.
Yes,
I'm not sick of it yet. And I'm like, what a gift. But oh my goodness, I need to figure out the dog. I have to figure out what the dog
Paris is very dog friendly.
I know, but you know what? It's the flight. And like, he's so social that if a flight attendant walks by, sees him, and even makes a second of eye contact with him, it's over. And he's like, I want to engage with that friend. I want them to talk to me, and I'm going to be yappy until we have our moment. So it's this thing where I'm like, he is beautiful, but I need to keep him away from people. Otherwise, he will be absolutely.
CBD.
Yeah? Okay, give him a little bit of.
Yeah, they have doggy CBD.
I gave it to him when I first got him and we were flying, and he did so well. I have this crazy story though. My dog had diarrhea on a plane.
Oh no. That's a nightmare.
It was really, really, really crazy, but I think fast. Really felt like a mom in that moment because I was like, okay, gonna wipe it up from the comfort of my seat with this thing. We're gonna put this in a bag, tie it up. It was crazy, but because they can't talk, I didn't. He kept trying to jump out of his crate, and I'm like, you love this thing. What's going on? And it's because he had to shit. Oh. I know, poor baby was trying to tell me. That's the thing. The dog's not going to steal your clothes or your jewelry or anything, but they can't talk. They can't talk back.
I'm dying to know what Davina thinks sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. There's a definite hierarchy. Like if I'm not there, then she'll go to my assistant. If he's not there, then she'll go to my nanny. If my nanny's not there, then she'll be like, okay, I guess I can go hang out with Krishna. You know, I was like, but they really, like, Krishna will come up to me in bed or she'll cuddle with me, and the dog could be at the foot of my bed, but immediately she'll jump up and try to wedge her body between me and Krishna. They're really, and I will snuggle with the dog, and the dog won't say anything, and Krishna will do the same, and she'll like, she'll start to growl. It's really hysterical.
That is wild that they pick up on that the energy like that. The dog's
total
like, no, this
sibling
is
rivalry.
It truly is. So you wanted to like instill some of the respect that you learned in your culture into your daughter,
and
right?
also the tie to our family. Like family is really big for good and bad, you know. So I wanted to make sure, and I feel like in American culture, it's your immediate family, and maybe your cousins if they live close by. Yeah. But in Indian culture, like everyone is your immediate family. You know, your parents' cousin is your uncle or aunt.
Yes, 100%.
And you know, you got to treat their children like your siblings, and it's all very hierarchical, but it's all really tight knit and really, really important. You know, my aunt has Diwali. We always coordinate our Diwalis, and I have to hike my butt like 2 hours to Connecticut just to sit around and talk to all these old Indian people I have no interest in talking to because they're not related. They're like her colleagues from the hospital or whatever, you know, all these other doctors or psychiatrists. And I'm like, yes, hi, auntie. It's nice to see you. But I do it.
Yeah, right.
You know, I drive 4 hours to be there 2 hours. So, because I have no choice in the matter. That's just how it is. And so if I have to suffer, she has to suffer.
You're like, you're going to suffer with me. That's what we have to do.
She has to learn that this is part of life.
Right.
This is just your duty.
Right.
And that's all there is to it.
As a member of a family. And now she's an only child. Is
that
accurate?
Other than Davina, yes.
Other than
the dog,
Davina. How do you Do you have any concern about her being an only child? Just given, I know you are.
I'm an only child.
You are too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then you're very connected to. I feel like then that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm an only child, but I have this huge extended family.
Yes.
And my cousins are like my siblings, as are my second cousins.
And
so
also, all my mother's siblings always left their children with our grandparents too. So we did grow up like siblings. Like my cousin Reggie lives in Connecticut, but she functions as my sister.
Sure.
You know, and so her two boys who are close in age to my daughter are the closest thing I have to sons. And so if they misbehave, I will be disciplining them on the spot like they are my child.
And they'll listen.
Yeah, well, they'll have to.
You're not my mom. It's,
no.
Yeah,
no, I'm your petty mom.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
So it's worse.
Yeah.
It's worse. Yeah. So, you know, that's why that name is like that, you know. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
You know. But, you know, she fights against it, but then she also likes things, likes things about it. Like she will say, like, you always know where you stand with my family, and they are fiercely close, you know. So she appreciates the warmth. She appreciates the love and the closeness and all of that. So I think, you know, she is Indian in the way that counts. But whenever she goes to India, she just goes from house to house and sees old people. I have to take her to the Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
I have to take her to Rajasthan. You know, I've just taken her to the inside all these old people's houses so far. And she's been to India a lot. She's been to India like 6 times.
Okay.
But it's hard. It's hard raising a biracial child because the atmosphere at my house is completely different than the atmosphere in her dad's house.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Does she seem to have a preference for one or the other?
Well, her dad lets her get away with more stuff.
Okay.
So, you know, he's not totally permissive with her. Like, he'll get mad at her certain times when she does bad stuff too. But, you know, he's much more even-keeled. I wear my heart on my sleeve. If I'm mad, you'll know. I don't even have to open my mouth. You'll know by my body language. But he's able to roll with the punches of her adolescence more. But he also doesn't have it as hard as I do.
Sure.
But, you know, so she gets away with more over there. Like, you know, dad is more... What did she say? She said, "Mom, you're very impulsive."
Oh, wow.
And I said, that is really rich coming right here.
Yeah.
You know? And so I said, yeah, I am. I don't even argue with her anymore. I'm like, yeah, so.
Okay, fine. I'm impulsive, but I am your mom, so.
Yeah, and?
What
you gonna do about it?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Live with me half the time.
Yeah.
Are you concerned with being friends with her? Do you want her to see you as a friend? Does that at all concern you or matter to you?
I have to remind her that she's not my equal and she's not my friend and that I'm her mother, you know, and I will try to be more like an older sister. I understand I was 15 once, you know, I was pushing my limits and boundaries, and I, you know what that's like. So I can't pretend that, you know, I can't clutch my pearls that, you know, I know. And I'd rather my daughter talk to me.
Okay.
I'd rather she tell me and me listen and try not to jump down her throat, which I do have to sit on my hands so I don't choke her sometimes, but because I live in America.
Right.
And I,
okay, yes.
And I cannot, I cannot do that. Right. But, you know, for the most part, I think she has a good head on her shoulders. And if I haven't taught her to have boundaries by now, you know, she's almost 16, it's too late.
Yeah.
You know, so she's a good girl at her core, but she, you know, like all teenagers, really pushes her boundaries.
Right. And does she talk to you about dating, crushes, anything?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Were you able to talk to anybody in your family when you had crushes besides the sibling-like figures in your life? Like
I talked to my mom a lot, but you know, then my mom stopped talking to me when I started dating a Muslim boy in college. And so I stopped talking to her because I thought it was hypocritical. And then she got over it, and then I broke up with him anyway.
Yeah.
So, not because he was Muslim, but
right.
yeah.
It tends to go. You want to be able to make your own choices at a certain point. So parents getting in the way of that, I feel like you do not. It's not to say rebel.
And then I did
okay.
one better. I married a Muslim atheist. So you know, so there you go.
She's like,
so she was like, oh, okay.
I really can't control this girl. She's her own person.
Yeah.
Okay, Padma. Well, that's great. There's now time for a segment called "That's Nice, but What About Me?"
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So some people have told me I should write a book, which I think is not crazy, but so many people write books, and I go, does everyone have to write a book? And you understand that literature is sacred, and I kind of see it the same way. And I don't.
As we're here talking about my eighth
but
book.
but it's your eighth book, and obviously you grew up with a love for literature, so I think it's different, and you have recipes to share with us
Yes.
and stories to tell. So that is exciting. I don't have recipes. Okay. What is the thing that you think one should have internally going on to sort of justify writing a book, if you will?
I think in order to do any piece of creative art, whether it's writing or filmmaking or, composing a song or painting, any of those things that are self-generated, that come from the thin air of your psyche, you need to have a fully formed opinion about said thing. And you also need to have a unique perspective. Like that, when I hear about people wanting to get into writing, even just a, cookbook, for example, and I say, well, what is your take on that? But it can be anything. It can be, a lot of books that start out as one thing wind up being another. Like my memoir didn't start out as a memoir. It started out, believe it or not, as a healthy eating book. And it turned into that because that's where my writing wanted to go. And so if there's something that you really care about enough, whether you're an expert or not, that will carry you through the writing of it. Because if you're not interested in it, neither will we be, and so that is really it. You have to feel really strongly about something, even if it's something you're searching for, like, not growing up with a father, or what that's like, or what that means, and how it's affected your life. Because I am convinced that it's certainly affected my life, and I'm not sure, even at the ripe old age of, 55, I'm not sure how deeply and in all the ways it has affected me, but I know it has, and I'm trying to discover that. That's enough to go on the journey. Now, not everyone can write a book. Not everyone should publish a book.
Yes, that's right. You can write one.
Yeah.
That's yourself.
Yeah.
On the Google
Well,
Drive.
maybe not. But you really don't know until you do it. And so that would be my advice to you. If you're thinking about writing a book, you're a well-known person, so somebody's going to easily give you a publishing contract. That's not the issue. But what should you write that book, and what is it about? Like, make sure that whatever you're writing has meaning to you first and foremost, but that it's resonant and it has some perspective on it. Because even a cookbook, right? You can, on your phone, Google any recipe that you want. You don't need to buy another cookbook. That's ever.
True. Yeah.
But, what you're getting from me in this cookbook is my point of view of cooking. So I'm just not trying to teach you how to make jollof rice or a soon or a tuna larb or whatever. I'm trying to teach you the principles of good cooking while I'm doing that. And every recipe is filtered through my way of writing recipes and my culinary point of view of the world.
Yeah.
So, you've done comedy for X amount of years, and, I'm sure you have very fully formed thoughts about that and what your process and what makes that funny and how you approach a character and why some things don't work for you. And even when people tell you to go left, that for you, you need to go right for that character, and how you do that and navigate that with your director or whoever. All that is super interesting. You have the experience and the knowledge, firsthand knowledge to have a distinct point of view that may or not, there's things that are subjective. So what works for you as an actor may not work for Heidi or may not work for someone else. But it's valid because you have the experience and the track record to opine about that.
Yeah, that is so helpful. That's such a helpful metric, because you could be like, I could write about something, but it's nice to be like, well, what do you care about and what do you actually want to say? And starting at that place, as opposed to being like, I bet people want to know about this thing. And if that's not a thing that I'm feeling passionate about sharing, then it's not a book that I should write.
Which is why my healthy eating book turned into a memoir.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about healthy eating.
I mean, I do, but
not
I
in
don't
that
think
way.
I need to write, I could tell you that in 4 sentences. I
Yeah,
don't
it doesn't need to
string
be.
it out. And that would have been a much more commercial book than my memoir. But, books last on the shelf a long time. Whether they sell 10 copies or 10 million, you have to be proud of that book in 20 years.
Yeah, that's
You know?
real. That's real. And that is a tall order. Okay, Padma, it's not just about me. It's not just about you. It's also about our guests. We have to give someone advice in this next segment. We're going to hear from them. Kevin, we're ready.
Hi, Ego. My name is Matt. I'm a big fan of yours. I've enjoyed following your career, and I really think you're awesome. As for advice, I think it's really cool that you're doing this. And so what I'd like to ask you is, as a single man in his upper 30s, my most previous long-term relationship ended back in January. How would you, Miss Eggy, suggest going about getting back out there on the dating scene and continuing my search for a new, strong connection with a woman? I'd really be interested to hear your thoughts and input on such an interesting topic, and can't wait to hear back from you.
Is he asking you out on a date?
It felt like that.
Miss Eggy?
Miss Eggy. Eggy, if you're nasty. But I also like how he said as a man in his upper 30s, as opposed to late 30s. Late 30s seems like old. Late 30s seems like you're running behind. But upper 30s, it's
means
elevated.
like you're an upperclassman.
Yeah, upper class. It's a bougie way of saying. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah.
Upper 30s.
Yeah.
I'm in my upper 30s.
I think he was asking you out.
Okay, so that's not
Did you
going to
send
happen.
pictures with the voice?
Well, I can't go out with it. I can't go. No shade, but because also it was a turn as I've been following your career. I'm like, God bless, that's amazing. He's a fan, and then it was shit. He just got out of a relationship and he's looking not for me. He's not looking for me. But Padma, what would you tell this young man? How to put himself out there? What was that? The
I don't
shiver?
know, because if I knew, I would not be single. Is the truth. I mean, I hate apps that are out there, but I think you need to know what your interests are, and write those down, and then look for women. Like, if you love bird watching, join a bird watching club. I don't know. Just don't walk around Central Park. But,
Yeah.
But like, if you love cooking, join a cooking class or a cookbook club. Someone in my office, they go salsa dancing because they really love it, and so they have their whole little community there. And I think anything you can do in real life is really important, because it's hard to meet people. Before, there were bars you would go to with your friends, and people would see if there was a vibe, and then you would feel it. You would have a drink, maybe you would dance, or you would just talk to them for an hour, and you would know enough. Now you have to make a date before you even know if this guy smells.
I know, if their breath smells, what's going on, and the people lie on the apps. Their pictures are old pictures. You arrive, you go, you kind of look like derivative of the picture I saw on the dating app. I don't enjoy the dating apps either. I would not prescribe them to this individual. Similar to you, I'm like, go live your life, know what your interests are, engage in those interests, try to become the best version of yourself, try to live a full, rich life, if you will, and then trust that the person is coming. Because, on the dating apps, I'm like, people are on here, I think, because you don't want to face rejection in real life. They got too scared of getting rejected at the bar or a restaurant.
But I would rather be rejected at the bar after a drink than have to get dressed up and go somewhere and meet them and then be rejected.
Immediately be like, this isn't it. And then have you ever sat on a date longer than you should?
Hell yes.
Yeah.
But now there have been dates that, I was on Raya for a while, which was really dumb. And I went on 3 dates, and they were all nice men. So if you're listening to this and you went on a date with me last year, they were all nice men.
Nice is low-key an insult, but okay.
But there was just no chemistry, and I was bored. And I knew. I ordered 1 glass of Prosecco, and before that glass was half empty, and I do say half empty, not half full.
Yeah.
Because he was 3/4 of the way done, and she came. She goes, "Would you like another drink?" And he goes, "Yes." And she said, "Oh, can I refresh your drink too?" I said, "No, I gotta go."
Oh,
because I don't want to waste his time.
So then they know right then. Did you get a text afterwards by chance, being like, I enjoyed my time with you, or did they know in that
No,
moment?
I
They
don't
know
give
that?
them my phone number until
Oh, so
like
you're just-
after the first
Have you had
date.
people ask prematurely on the dating apps? Because I used to have people asking prematurely.
Yeah, and
like,
I
what?
just say, I'm sorry, I'm a known person and I've only had one cell phone my whole life and I would like to keep it that way. It has nothing to do with you. It's not personal.
Yeah.
You know, I can give you my email. I check that just as often. It's on my phone too.
Yeah. Oh
And if
my
they
gosh,
have a
email is
problem with
like-
it. But you know what? There was one guy that I would that happened. He was offended for a little bit. He was an Italian. He is an Italian.
He's still alive.
Yeah,
She
hopefully.
didn't kill him.
And
Okay.
living in Tokyo.
Okay.
And we had an email correspondence for 4 months.
Okay.
And it was so beautiful because we would write these long, old-fashioned letters. It was like I was living in the 1800s. And then, like, he would respond in a week later. So sometimes I'd be in the middle of my day, because also he lived in Tokyo, and I would be coming back, you know, seeing my phone after the gym, and I'd see I had an email, and I would purposely not open it because I wanted to savor it. So
Yes.
I'd wait till my whole day was over.
That's sweet.
And then I would lie on the couch with my dog
Yeah.
and light a fire and make a cup of tea. And then I would open my computer. I like to read it on my computer, not even on my phone. I would just read it. And he would tell me about the week
Yeah.
and how he went to the mountains and blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
And we never FaceTimed. I don't know why. We never even left each other audio messages. or
Wow.
anything. And then finally he said, you know, let's just meet somewhere neutral. Like, let me know when your next trip is and I'll meet you there. And if you could just put like an extra day in your schedule or something, let's do that. And then I said, hey, I got a car commercial in Tokyo.
Okay.
And I went to Tokyo. And even in spite of having to shoot all day, every day, I was there. I was there for like 5 days. I saw him 4 out of the 5 days I was there at night. And he gave me a beautiful tour of Tokyo, and he was really nice. And we already had old people energy together.
Yeah.
But like nothing happened because we held hands a little bit, but it's like it's not worth it. Like I'm still gonna live in New York. It's
And
not.
he
You're
wasn't
still
gonna
living
move
in Tokyo.
And
Yeah.
he couldn't move, huh?
I don't think you move based on 4 days. You know what I mean?
The way the movie I was writing as you
Yeah.
were speaking.
I know.
I'm like, the way that movie goes is he does move, and it ends
I
up being
know.
a match made in,
I
because you
know.
enjoyed your time. I'm
I
such a romantic
did.
though.
It's very romantic. And once a year, he texts me and says, hi, it's my yearly check-in. How are you doing? And I say, I'm doing great. How are you doing? And he was very elegant. I went to his apartment and I saw it. You know, I think he was too scared to like really make a move on me because he wanted to be respectful.
Yeah.
And I was too lazy to really make a move.
So
I
we're
was
really
so
just
tired.
so we're really pen pals. So people complain about being pen pals, but like
I
you guys
love
were
it.
actually pen pals and then did meet up, but it was like, let's keep it relatively platonic. I guess we'll hold hands.
Yeah.
Something so
Because
pure
I'm
about
not a
that.
one night stander.
Okay.
It's just not. I need to feel really comfortable with you in order to let you in that intimately.
Yeah.
And
Literally in.
Yes, yeah.
I understand.
But you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I'm very shy and I
Yeah.
don't feel comfortable right away. So I can just be like,
Yeah,
you know.
okay.
So then in my mind, I was trying to make that calculation. I was like, you know, you're going to leave.
Yeah.
And like, then you'll just have done this thing with
Yeah,
this guy.
yeah,
Like,
yes, yeah.
I don't know why. For whatever reason, it just, I guess there was not enough like
Of us.
passion,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But there was genuinely like a real fondness and coziness between us.
That's nice.
So like if he moved to New York for some independent reason, we would probably be at least friends and maybe, you know, maybe we would go out and I feel like we would just turn into an old couple in 2 months.
Yes,
You know, like
okay.
that was the
So
vibe.
maybe this is someone for down the road.
Yeah,
Just
for
maybe like down
retirement,
the road when
yeah.
you're like, yeah, I'm retired from the
yeah.
game.
I didn't get the butterflies.
Oh yeah, I think you need the butterflies.
Definitely.
Some people would not agree with that, but I'm like, give me the butterflies, give me a spark. I need to feel.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love the early stages of a romance.
Isn't having a crush the best thing?
It's the best.
My
thing.
favorite. That's like been my favorite thing historically is just having a crush. I'm like a crush.
What's
is
the
so
longest relationship you've ever had?
fun. 18 months.
Wow.
A year and
okay.
a year and a half, and that was longer than it needed to be. Padma.
Oh yeah, no.
yeah.
I know.
What's
I've been
your
there.
longest?
Well, I was with my ex-husband for 8 years.
Okay.
And that was my longest relationship.
Okay.
Otherwise, I was with another boyfriend for 6 years.
Okay.
I was with another person who passed away for 4 years. You know, with Krishna's father, it was very complicated, and we were never living together, but there were periods when we were together. But I mean, that guy isn't going anywhere because he's my baby daddy.
He's attached to you forever.
Yeah, ever.
Okay,
yeah.
Padma,
but I mean, he's a good dad, so that's fine. We're
Yeah.
really close and we're good friends and stuff. So, in a way, it doesn't really matter who you marry. It matters who you reproduce with.
Right. Also, I just love you got a couple of these men on the hook for a long term. We've got our pen pal in Tokyo, Krishna's dad. Come on, roster. Padma, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I learned a lot today.
I learned a lot too.
So you're like me too. I really appreciate you. Get Padma's book.
Yeah.
Yes, Padma's All American.
Oh, one thing I want to say about
please.
advice to that guy.
Yes.
You should put the feelers out.
Okay.
You should tell all of your friends and colleagues if they know anybody that would be someone they think you'd click with. Mm-hmm. That's a good way. A friend of a friend.
I do agree. That's worked out for some of my friends. So I'm not mad at that. That's a great piece of advice also.
Yeah.
Okay, you heard it. You know what to do now.
Yeah.
I bet this person ends up in a loving relationship in no time.
I hope so.
I think we gave all the tools we possibly could.
I hope he just doesn't show up at iHeartRadio.
I mean,
With
there's security outside. There's security, right? I don't know. Okay, bye guys. Oh my gosh, how amazing is Padma? I enjoyed my conversation with her so much, and so much of that I could relate to, and hopefully you could too. Sleepovers. I didn't get to tell her that I don't like sleepovers as an adult. So the irony is like as a kid being like, Mom, let me sleep over. And now I'm like, I need to wake up in my own bed. I don't care how late it is that I'm leaving your home. I need to wake up in my own bed, because if I don't wake up in my own bed, and I'm not at a hotel, we're not talking vacation. If I don't wake up in my own bed, my whole day is messed up. Just having to reset in my own space and get to my own space and reset. So I'm not going to be this aggressive. Tempted to say abolish sleepovers as well, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not there yet. I'm not there just yet. Anyway, Padma's book, Padma's All American, a cookbook. I think you guys need to get it. I'm very excited. I've been told to try the suya recipe in here, and so I'm so excited. And guys, make something and tell me what you make from it. Maybe we could do a podcast listener cook together Zoom. I don't know. I'm making that up, but it could happen. Anyway, get this book. Padma's an amazing chef. I've had her food. It's really good, and I cannot wait to get into this book. Hey, if you want some advice from me and my next guest, you can call me and leave a voice message. In fact, I encourage you to do so and enunciate for me, Daddy. Thanks, Dad. No, okay. The number is 502-849-3237. 502-849-3237. That's 502. Thanks, THX, Dads. And you can leave me a voice message asking me for advice. I don't know what I'm doing on this planet, but honey, I will try my best to offer you a nugget of something. Bye, y'all. Thanks, Dad is a production of Will Ferrell's Big Money Players and iHeart Podcast. I'm your host, Ego Nwodim. Our producer is Kevin Bartelt, and our executive producer is Matt Apodaca.